men hear women say, listen, I want you to open up more. I want you to, like, show your emotions. I don't want you to be a machine. And in men's minds, I know because I am one, what we think is exactly what you said. And it's like, well, listen, like I am positive that like the most feminist woman on earth, if I talked to her and I said, okay, if you were in a relationship with a man, like, would you be okay if he cried a lot more than you? And it's like, no, probably not. I mean, probably not. Like, maybe, but probably not. That's not something that they're looking for. But men can't understand. And you know what's weird about this is that it's culturally based too, because in the United States, at least, if a girl falls off a bike, her parents are like, oh, sweetie, it's okay. They coddle her and everything. A boy falls off a bike and cries. It's like, shut it up. Stop crying. What's wrong with you? What are you, a girl? And so you learn at like 5 years old, okay, crying is bad. And so men hold back crying as much as they can. But you go to like Greece or Italy or something, and men crying is not a big deal. Like it's just showing passion and emotion. But our cultural standards say that no, crying is for women. That's not what you do. And so it is pretty funny that it's completely arbitrary, but we act like it's like the gospel.
I think that's taking the thought to extreme, right? It's like they must want us crying if they want us to be emotional. Like,
Yes.
no, no, like it's yes, everything is very extreme these days, but it's like if a man is expressing something to you that he's struggling with something and that he feels safe enough to let an emotion out, like crying or something, that is so attractive. A man catering to and tending to his own emotions is a man in therapy. There's literally nothing more attractive than a guy who's like, yeah, I'm in therapy, or I've been through extensive therapy. It's like he's worked on it. He understood that he had an issue somewhere that he needed to work on, and not in a gym. And you know what I mean? Like not drawing a paint, like whatever. He actually went to a therapist because he knew that he wanted to work on something. He did the work, and this is why he's evolved, and this is why I want to be with this person, because he he's not perfect, right? We don't expect men to be perfect by any means. We don't want them to be perfect at all. We just want them to look inwards, because relationships, they take a lot of work. But men who are typically very non-communicative, women speak like 1,000 more words a day than men do. We think faster, we emote, we describe. Men are much different. But I think what we're just looking for is someone who's open to doing the work and able to hold space for us and make it safe for us to be emotional and not be looked at like, well, this crazy bitch is all upset. No, how about look at, oh, well, I was 2 hours late and she cooked dinner and she did all of these things. Like, what is my part in this? Why she's being upset and crazy, right? Like, I feel like a lot of things are actions that cause reactions, and we just love men to like work on that shit a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. What bothers me about that whole situation is this is a critique I have of conservatives in general, but we can focus on the gender dynamics here specifically, is that men like to pretend that they're not misogynist, and that drives me insane. It's just because
100%.
it drives me insane. And so a year ago, a year and a half ago, I was working out in the gym, and I was doing some like military presses or whatever. And as I was doing it, I felt like this weird pop in the back of my neck. And I was like, oh, that was weird. It felt odd and everything, but I kept going. That night, like my neck was on fire. I like my left arm was completely numb. It was horrifying. And so I went to the doctor to find out what's going on, and it turned out I had a herniated disc in my spine. So there wasn't much they could do for me. Like I couldn't move my arm, like I could barely move my head, and I had to do physical therapy for a long time. Like the pain still hasn't gone away. Like it's still there after all this time. But I remember going to the physical therapist, and she gave me this list of exercises to do and to, help, alleviate the pain and help heal it. And one of the exercises involved me like getting on all fours and like sinking my chest down and like popping my ass back into the air. And as I was doing it, I was like, man, why? It's like, this is something a chick would do. And I didn't like it. But I thought about it more. It's like, it wasn't just that I was thinking, oh, this is something that women do, so I shouldn't do it. It was worse than that. It was thinking, I'm lowering myself to doing something that women do. And it really hit home, and it hit home with me. It's like, oh man, like that is, misogynistic as hell. And having to deal with that is the mark of someone who's actually working. And which bothers me about conservatives, because they pretend that these biases aren't there. And because they are, and they're there for, sexism, they're there for racism, they're there for ethnocentrism. And that, yeah, we do think for example, like with clothing, it's okay for women to wear pants. Men are not going to wear dresses. No, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's beneath me. And that's really what it comes down to. And what bothers me is when people pretend these biases don't exist. And they're like, oh no, I don't feel. And then another example I give is like, so like if I'm on an airplane and I sit down, I'm ready to take off flight, and the captain comes on the radio and it's a woman, my first thought is like, whoa, does she know what she's doing? And that's fucked up, and a lot of women would probably think that too. And now it's insane. There's no reason to think that a woman can't fly a plane, but when you think of a pilot, you think of a 50-year-old white guy. And so you hear a 32-year-old woman up there, you're like, am I going to be safe? And like, this permeates all of society, like men and women. And it just drives me nuts when people are like, I don't see gender, I don't see color. Yes, the fuck you do. And even if, let's say you don't, let's say if by some miracle you don't, everyone else does. And if you just ignore that facet of society, we're never going to solve this problem.
Yeah, it's the same thing like how Republicans are always talking about pronouns, about their pronouns are USA and their pronouns are patriot and this and that. But if you call a Republican man she, they know really quickly what a pronoun is. If you call a Republican not by their pronouns, they will correct you. And it's like, then you do understand. You do get it, because you don't want to be called she because you're a he, right? But it's just the hypocrisy of it all, society.
It's also funny too, like with that, because they always like, it's so weird that they're so focused on this shit, because they're like, well, listen, there are men and there are women and that's it. There's no lines in there. And they're the exact same people who will jump at like some 98-pound green haired dude is like, you're not a real man. Okay, wait, I thought that he was a man. Like you just said that there's only a binary here. Like, so they don't it's obnoxious. And they just, I don't know, boils down to the fact they hate trans people, and so they take any opportunity to shit on them. But it's obnoxious to watch.
Which, when, we talked earlier about basically the left cannibalizing each other, people of color, LGBTQIA community, and women, there is way more of us than all of them. And if everybody could just get on the same page and get a super majorities, the presidency, way more than enough seats in the Senate, way more enough seats in Congress, then we could pass all of this legislation that we want passed. Because when you look at the left, at the end of the day, we all want the same things. We want gun reform, we want climate action, we want women's reproductive rights, and we want to talk about like education and healthcare, right? And everyone's fighting with each other right now, when I truly believe that most of us on the left want all of those things. But unless we all vote together, we're not going to be able to have any of them, or worse, we're going to go straight into authoritarianism. And those people that are, rallying against, they're going to vote third party and they're going to do this and they're going to sit this election out. I don't think they're fully aware that they will be the second and third ones that they come from, because Republicans have made it clear they're coming for all of us that are different from white Christian national. We're the target. So if everybody could just come together and play chess instead of stomping their feet and wanting what they wanted right now, we could get all of this stuff done.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. It's true. Uh, Talking about coming together with leftism, something that has really sat with me over the last couple of years is what something we mentioned before is that, I mean, unfortunately, the reality of the world is that a man's opinion is taken more seriously than a woman's opinion. Like that's just how it is, and it's unfortunate, but that's the case. And I go to like Democratic Socialist of America meetings and everything like that, and I look around at the men that are there, and a lot of them do fit like the Republican stereotype of what a lefty guy is, you know, like a guy who's never been in the gym in his life, you know, and a guy who has no commanding and authoritarian presence, or can project his voice and everything like that. And it a lot of times when I go, like, not to, you know, toot my own, I'm one of the only ones that can do that. And it really saddens me that leftist men uh aren't at the forefront of this, because it is important. Like, it's important for us to do that. And I guess I can understand why, because like being a leftist is if you're a leftist, it's more likely than not that you've been beaten down and downtrodden in life, and you know that, you know, things are. But if you're someone who was born on third base and you have like this charismatic personality and you're smart and everything, yeah, you're not too concerned with the plight of the lower class or anything like that. And uh that fits a lot of men. And so I wish that we had more men willing to stand out there and say, hey, listen, you know, most leftist men are just regular fucking dudes. Like that's how it is. But I'm trying my best to change that perception that leftist men are, you know, like somehow less than, you know, authoritarian right-wing men.
I agree with you. I think we're at a very interesting time in politics, just society in general. But we're looking at like the end of the boomers' time in politics and in control of things. And you know, this is something that I talk about all the time in my circles. But you know, Democrats were always known for almost being like rolling over and being too nice. But the new breed of Democrats that are coming out, the AOCs, we're talking about Gavin Newsom. I'm really looking forward to a more aggressive approach. I think they're going to start working on their messaging and things like that, because that's what we need. Like, I don't want a nice guy anymore. I want someone like Gavin Newsom who is going to go and mop the floor with Ron DeSantis. Like, I want to know that he's going to protect us, right? That he's got the gall to fight these like nasty Republicans. And I think just exactly what you said is right. Leftist men are like regular dudes. But I wish more would come out, and meaning not come out like that, but I wish there were more guys like you saying these things, talking this way, being more realistic, being relatable to other men, you know, because I think also leftist men, they have this, it's a total stereotype, but like that they're pussies, right? You know, they're painting their nails and, you know, pink hair, and they want
Yeah.
to wear dresses and things like that. And so I think a lot of regular ass dudes like you, or you know, like my male friends, like my regular life male friends, I think men are hesitant because they
Yes.
don't want to be deemed a pussy or something, right? But you don't have to be. Like, take the cues from Gavin Newsom and AOC and like Garcia and Maxwell Frost and like these people coming forward. Like, we don't have to be pussies, and we shouldn't be, we should be exactly as we are. We're so much funnier, where there's so many things about leftists that I think are awesome. And I wish more leftist men wanted to come out and shine that way. Like a perfect example, what we're talking about right now in Texas that's going on, a woman cannot have a life-saving abortion. And I want to know why every man out of all my following isn't saying something about it. Because I think more men need to be like, no, I'm not cool with them taking her rights. Like, they're like, oh, like feminist movement, like, you guys got it. Like, we're fine. Like, yeah, we'll come to the march, but like, we're not going to like say anything in our male social circles. But I think more men should be like, no, I'm not cool with abortion. No, I'm not cool with you raping that chick. No, I don't want my girlfriend to have to go beg the Supreme Court so she can get health care. I wish more men on our side were being tougher. That's where we say, I want a masculine. Like, I want a tough ass dude to come out and stand up for me. I don't need him to. Obviously, I'm a very loud enough voice by myself, but I think leftist women would love it if our dudes were like, no, you're not doing that. Like, no, I don't agree with you. No, this isn't okay. Publicly speaking out and saying, fuck these people. We would love more of that.